Hello humans, I'm Yoshiller, and before I begin today's Animal Crossing New Horizons video, I need to give you guys a quick update. I like to keep track of everything I do when I play Animal Crossing New Horizons. That's the point of the series, so it's only fair that I point out that I did do something beyond the recording I did in the previous video. See, the previous Animal Crossing video was a multiplayer video that featured my good friend Whatageek, and after he left my island, I did play the game for a little longer. My good friend Jughead had Red on his island, and he told me that he had paintings that I did not have in my own museum. So, I took up the opportunity to go to Jughead's island, and I bought a painting from Red. Then, Jughead also generously gave me an additional painting, so now I have that. In exchange, I told him and my other good friend Emma that Celeste was on my island, so I allowed them to come over, see Celeste, and wish upon some shooting stars. I wished upon the shooting stars with them as well. So today, I shall be picking up the star fragments that resulted from those shooting stars, and I will move on with the rest of my day. Okay, that's everything I did off screen. Now let's move on to today's video. Whoosh! Hello humans, I'm Yoshiller. Welcome back to some more Animal Crossing New Horizons. Folks, we are in a weird time. We are nearing the final few videos of this series. My main focus for at least the next couple of videos will be on collecting deep sea creatures so that I can knock out a Nook Miles achievement, and then I'll probably do some cleanup around my island, and that'll be it. That'll be it. I don't really have any other major things planned for this series before it comes to a close. I just want to knock out this Nook Miles achievement and enjoy my final few days here on the island. I'm not trying to make things sound sad, but I'm not trying to act like I don't care, because I do care, and it is kind of sad, but I just want to play the game where we're going to treat today like any other day. There's no news. Great. So it really is just like any other day. Alright. So I've got 300 or so deep sea creatures I still have to obtain. So by that logic, if I just obtain 100 deep sea creatures a day, I should be able to collect enough deep sea creatures over the course of the next couple of days and be done before this series comes to a close. Alright, hello Timmy. We got 8 bells. Thanks. Thank you for that. Alright, and I got some mail. Here's the mail. Alright. That's right, I did order something from Jolly Reds. That's another thing I have to worry about before this series comes to a close. First, I have to throw this letter away so I have to save space. Then, I got to try to see if I can get all the remaining paintings in the game before the series comes to a close so I can have a complete museum. But for now, let me take this painting that I did obtain, as well as the one that I obtained yesterday, and I will submit both of these to the museum, and I will be 2 more paintings / sculptures / exhibits closer to finally being done with the museum as a whole. So, alright, Blathers, my good man, I shall give you both of these. Make a donation, please. And then, boom and boom. Thank you, Juggy, for both the mysterious painting and the moody painting. Alright, there you go. It works out. And they were both real. Awesome. So let me run through the museum one more time so I can keep track of things, and then maybe tomorrow I can look back and double check which paintings I'm missing, and maybe I can dig through some Discord servers or Twitter accounts or something and see if I can get what I'm missing. So I'm missing the 3 sculptures here. Alright. I'm missing 1 painting that goes there, 1 painting that goes there, 1 sculpture that goes here. This whole little chunk is done. That's nice. Yeah, I believe these are categorized by where the art was created, but I don't know that for certain. So yeah, there's that and that. So I'm missing a sculpture that goes there, and then painting, sculpture. Okay, it's a bit more to have to contribute to the museum than I thought, but it's at the same time though, although it is a lot, it's only about 10 or so things I have to contribute. Like, should I count right now? That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay, well, fine. It's more than 10, but 11, 12. 12. Just a dozen. Oh, 13, 14, 15. All right, it's more than it's 16. This is the one that goes there. All right, what's this supposed to be? Okay, it doesn't tell me. Well, I'll figure it out. I got a lot to take care of. This probably won't be completed before the series is over, but I will do what I can. At least there's a decent chunk of art pieces inside the museum, and I just contributed 2 more today, and I think that that's a very good thing. Now, I shall dip out of here, and before I do any deep sea diving today, I want to go around my beaches and pick up the star fragments that are supposed to have appeared. Yeah, like this one. There should be a bunch of them. So I would like to collect those and maybe craft a couple of things with them. And since today is the only day where I can obtain them... Oh, and Gulliver's here? Well, with any luck, this will be the last time I have to help Gulliver, and then he'll finally give me his precious recipe for a golden shovel. Oh, and if he doesn't, well, I mean, maybe I can help him one more time before the series is over. But this might be the last time I ever help Gulliver. So I have to hope that he gives me the golden shovel recipe afterward. Gulliver, my man! I'm ready. The waves are good. Ready the pool noodles. That's it. I'm whacking you with the net. Here we go. Hoppa! No. Alright, that's it. I'm doing it again. You are taking up valuable time that I need to be collecting star fragments and deep sea creatures today, sir. And you still got to give me my gold shovel recipe because it's at the mercy of you. Come on. You licked all the cookies. Now you really gotta wake up. Alright, that'll do it. Hello, Gulliver. Don't you worry, I am used to the routine by now. You've dropped 5 pieces of your precious communicator across the beaches of my island, or they washed up somewhere or something, and it is up to me to go around with my handy shovel and dig them up. I can do that. But you know what would make this easier, Gulliver? Is if I had a recipe for a golden shovel, but I get the feeling I'm not going to have that, and even by the time I get the golden shovel, it's not going to be super useful for me, because I don't need to dig up any more manila clams, and I don't really need to bonk any more rocks. I mean, I guess if I ever needed more iron nuggets or very specific supplies for one reason or another, I could use the golden shovel to try and get them, but otherwise... Really, I only want the golden shovel for the sake of a Nook Miles achievement in which I gotta get all the golden tools, plus... I have to craft 5,000 tools anyway, although I'm probably not going to clear that achievement before the series is over. But crafting a golden shovel would bring me 1 tool closer. Alright, where are my other star fragments? There's got to be more than 1. And I guess I'll keep the shovel out too, just in case any colorful communicator parts wish to make themselves known. And then on a future day, I'll clean all my Mario stuff up. I really should have cleaned it up earlier because we're in the month of April now and the Mario celebration's over. But for now, let me just head on over here to the right and I will see what the deal is. There we go. Let's see. Oh, okay. More regular star fragments. I mean, star fragments in general are fine after craft a fair share of items that utilize them. There we go. What I really want are these specialty ones. Here we go. The Ares fragment. Yes. Yes, the Ares fragment. And there's another one back there. Ooh, I love it so much. Thank you very much. So glad I got to wish on a couple more shooting stars before the series came to a close. Well, let's just keep getting them. So there's that. And then there's this. Oh, well, I picked up a shell. But that's fine. I can always sell the shell by the seashore. And then is that another one back there? Oh no, that's just a recipe. But I'll pick that up anyway, with the hope that more stuff will spawn. Shell lamp. I already know it. In fact, I believe I got that recipe from my good man Pascal. So in the off chance that it is a bit of a rare recipe, I suppose I can keep that over by the other DIY recipes that I keep on my island, and we'll get to it. Also, Doi, I was supposed to be on the lookout for communicator parts. That's probably one. Oh, I missed. There we go. Communicator part. Thank you. Alright. I'll take that. Good. Boom. Good. Alright. Boom. There you go. That's 2. Excellent. Let's just power through this, and then the rest of today will be a deep sea diving kind of day. Any more star fragments, though? Those would be good. Hey! Thank you. Alright. Communicator part number 3. Good, 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 good. I'm looking. Hey, there we go. Good. That's number 4. And with any luck, this little white smoke steam part over to my left that I just barely missed, that'll also... Oh, it's a manila clam. I don't need those anymore because manila clams, their purpose is to be used to make bags of fish bait. They're also necessary to obtain for a separate Nook Miles achievement that I knocked out a long time ago. And I don't need any more fish bait because I'm done catching fish. Oh, it feels so good to say that! But what I do need is this last communicator part. Or star fragments. I would like either or now. Gulliver has no need for the star fragments. I would like them, especially if they are Ares fragments. I can use those to craft some sort of Ares item that I've never crafted before. I'm looking. I'm looking. What was the deal? No star fragments? No white smoke steam thingy? I don't know what to tell you. Gulliver, I think you're stuck here. Sorry, you can help me find star fragments. Maybe then you'll find some value in them because they can help make you some pretty creative and colorful things that are based on astrological signs and things astronomers use to get into space. Well, I don't know what else I can do. I mean, I'm not seeing any more white smoke. I guess I'll go check the beach on the right again. I'm not seeing any more star fragments. I just want to find this stuff so I can proceed to do deep sea diving for the next hour or so, and I want to see how many deep sea creatures I can get. I think I can get 100 in an hour, but I can't even find one communicator part in like 5 minutes. Hey, why didn't that count? There we go. That's the last communicator part. Very good. Let's knock that out. And while I'm here, what does it take? What does it take to make the Aries thingy? Oh yeah, I guess I can make one of those one day. But for now, I need to go to sort by. Well, yeah, I guess sort by series. Okay, series, and then we need Aries, the rocking chair. Great. Well, I have enough Aries fragments, and I know I have at least one gold nugget in my house. So, what if I go inside my house, craft it real quickly, come back outside, give Gulliver his little communicator parts, and then I go deep sea diving. Huh? Does it sound like a plan to you guys? Because it sounds like a plan to me. So we are going to make this work. Here we go. It's all coming together. It's all going to be fine, and we'll deep sea dive for an hour, and I'll talk about some random thing like I would when I was fishing. But the good news is I'm just deep sea diving. That's easier. Frick, I still haven't updated my house. Ugh. That's going to be one of the last things I wind up doing in my series is finally changing the appearance of my house again. And I'll have to change it to something that permanently looks awesome. Because this looks fine. Maybe I best do it now before I forget. But first, I guess I can craft multiple items at the same time. Alright, so I just need to get a gold nugget out. I can do that. So alphabetical. And then we go down to G. Where's the G? I just need the one, but I'll take two. Alright, here we go. I'm crafting stuff. It's all going to be awesome. Alright. Hey guys, I'm here. Doing it. Here's my little crafting space in my office. Let's craft a couple of different things, huh? So first, we get to craft that. Nice. Nice. Okay. And thank you very much. So I made the Aries rocking chair finally. Yep. Yep, we take those. And then for the seasonal stuff, yeah, there we go. I want more cherry blossom stuff. So I want to make the umbrella. There we go. And then I imagine I'm going to need 10 to make the walls, so I might not actually be able to craft the wall, and I'm going to be very sad. Let me see. Yep. Yep, but I should have extra cherry blossoms in my storage. So, if this is still alphabetical, and I'm assuming it is because it started with A-T, then my extra cherry blossoms, cherry blossoms! Nice. Okay, great. So I'll take another one. Let's craft. Okay. And then we can make one of those. Yay, I have it! I was finally able to craft the cherry blossom stuff. Oh, I'm so much happier now. Okay. Can't really craft anything else, huh? I'm gonna run out of cherry blossoms soon. I best hang on to them for now. I never made a pan flute? Did I use up all my young spring bamboo? I thought I made all the bamboo items. Hang on, now I gotta... Oh, frick. Oh, man. Alright, we gotta go to the bottom, guys. See if I have any young spring bamboo. I get the feeling I don't. I don't think I have any bamboo whatsoever. Alright, we gotta go to the bottom. That's good enough. Zen cushion. I've got 2 pieces, so I can't craft it anyway. Alright, well, that's a bummer. But I got Nook Miles for crafting something. Great. I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, we're good. Good. So now, let's put some stuff away. So this can go back in storage. That can go in storage. This can go in storage. Oh, whoops, no. No, I meant to hit put in storage, not favorite. Haha. This, the storage, this, with the storage, this, with the storage, sure, with the storage, and guess I hang on to the rest of the stuff. Okay, here we go then. Yeah, here we go now. I'm feeling it. I'm doing it. We're good. Alright, so let me go speak to Gulliver once more. and then I will sell this DIY recipe. Or no, I won't sell this DIY recipe. I will hang on to it. Let me go speak to Gulliver regardless. Alright, I'm coming, buddy. I'm coming. Oh, another cherry blossom. Well, don't mind if I do. Watch out, Charlize. I need this. Boom. Thank you. I got it. Extra cherry blossom for me. I love it. Okay. Now, to go over here and to speak to you again. I might even go around one more time and look for a few extra star fragments, because I get the vibe I was supposed to have more than what I currently obtained. And then I'll stop at my house one more time, drop out the cherry blossom and the star fragments, and then I'm going deep sea diving. I promise you, I'm going deep sea diving today. We're on day 362, okay? I'm nearing the end. I only have so many more days where I can goof off and do random things. I gotta work. I gotta do the deep sea diving. Alright? Very good. Alright, there you go, sir. You could please send me a recipe for a gold shovel. I would be so grateful. Also, I gotta cough real quick. Just give me one moment. I'm good. Folks, I'm gonna be fine. There's just like a little dot in my throat. I think I got it. Alright, let's do one more inspection of the beaches. Not seeing any star fragments. I might have found everything. Well, if nothing else, at least I got some Aries fragments. Those are good. Alright. And then I'm not seeing any more fragments. That might have been it. That might have been the last fragments I'll ever obtain in this series. But you know what? You know what? At least I was able to craft something with them. Alright, now then. Tiki torch. What's this one? Iceberg flooring. Bamboo doll. Tell you what, we don't need the bamboo doll here. What we need instead is this shell lamp recipe that I will put right there. And then, I'm going to check around one more time. Come on, any fragments? No. This is all such nope. Nope, nope, nope. No fragments. That's a fragment! Alright. My effort searching around these beaches once more was not in vain, for even just finding one more star fragment means that my efforts were worthwhile. Okay, let me see. Is there anything up here? No, just more shells and a giant clam. Alright, well, I will take these items, I will put them in my house storage, and then I will go jump in the water. And then the deep sea diving expedition shall begin. Now, just to double check, I need to see how many deep sea creatures I need to obtain. Woof! I had to get 350. It's a lot. That's a lot. You know, if I get 100 every day, I'll be done. I'll be done. I was hoping it was 250. Nope, it's 350. 100 more than I was expecting, but I, Yoshiller, can make it all work. And just to double check, I will go down here and see if there's any last second star fragments. I am not seeing any. Good. I guess that's a good thing. Okay, well, I need to sell some stuff and get a move on then. So, here we go. I'm going inside the shop today. There is no need for me to use the drop-off box right now. I will do that a little later. I will now talk to you guys. Hello, it feels weird that you're not selling something right here. Interesting. Alright, well, hey, I want to sell, and I am offering that. Huh, I guess that's it. Okay, there you go. I guess I could have just used the drop-off box after all, but whatever. Thank you. Now I'm at 3,000 bells. Oh, I'm going to have so much more later, but when I'm collecting these deep sea creatures, if I, plan on selling them, I probably am just going to use the drop-off box at that time. Now what I need to do, I need to run along this beach right here. There probably won't be too many more star fragments. I thought I wished on more shooting stars last night, but I might have only wished on like 10. And I might have picked up all 10 star fragments that would have appeared already. Oh, I'm such a liar! Because there's one right here! And therefore, me inspecting the beaches once more was something worthy of my time. Okay. Let's see. Nothing there. Alright, I got one more Aries fragment. I don't know that anyone will be able to do anything with just one Aries fragment, but I have it. So I guess I can check one more beach scan, and then I'll go to my house and drop off these items, and then I will do the deep sea diving for 40 minutes and see if I can collect 100 creatures in 40 minutes? Probably not, because I'll probably only average 1 deep sea creature per minute, if not 2. But even if I averaged 2 deep sea creatures a minute for the last 40 minutes of this video, that would only get me to 80 deep sea creatures. So like it or not, I'm probably going to have to go overtime, and that's unfortunate. I would like to knock out this Nook Miles achievement as soon as possible, and I don't want to have to go overtime, but if that's what it comes down to, then I'm willing to put the time in. Let's go. What we got here? Nothing. 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 None of this. None of this. Alright, there was nothing else. I don't need anything else. Okay. Well, as I've been saying, let me go drop off these items, and then let me go deep sea diving. And folks, I want to tell you, I totally understand if this part is very boring. And I'm going to let you know that the next day or two after this are basically going to be the same thing, in which I just deep sea dive all day until the achievement is done. But then on day 365, that probably won't be the last day of the series. The last day is probably going to be something like day 368, because I want to do 1 or 2 more fine-tuning things to my island. But if I do fine-tuning things, that's going to take up a lot of my day. And I try to only play this game for an hour each day. Anything more is a bit much. It's a bit much. Alright, so all this goes in storage. Alright, and now time for me to put this old thing on. There we go. I'm ready. I'll keep my socks and my shoes on, of course, but I will go deep sea diving. I'm ready to do it. Okay, and then we're good, and I can put that away now. Alright, 100 deep sea creatures, let's just get it. And with any luck, this will be an easy task. I don't have to worry about equipment breaking, I just have to track down the deep sea creatures, and I would rather have the common deep sea creatures show up than the rare stuff. The rare stuff is more valuable, sure, and it's, well, rarer, so it's bragging rights, but I need the common stuff because it's easier to catch, and they more commonly spawn. What I don't know is if it's easier for me to catch deep sea creatures on a Nook Miles island or on my own island. I get the feeling that if I go to a Nook Miles island, maybe the experience will be easier. And I do have 1 last Nook Miles ticket, so maybe I should go use it. I can go to any old island, I don't care what the layout is, although if it's Bamboo Island, I guess that's handy, because then I can get some young spring bamboo and craft that bamboo flute or whatever. So let me give that a try. I got 1 deep sea creature. Alright, we're getting it, we're getting it. Just 349 more to go. Let's scare these things away, huh? They're not even scared that I just got that close to them. And I'll get this second deep sea creature while I'm at it, just because it's real convenient to obtain right now. Alright. I did it. I got it. Okay. Okay. Now, back onto the shore. Of course. There we go. Alright, I don't need any bugs. I don't need any fish. Oh, it feels so good to be able to not need them. Alright, I have this extra Nook Miles ticket. I am gonna use it. There it is. Okay. Good. Good. Alright. Let's see where they take me, because this might be the last time I ever go on a Nook Miles tour, guys. Unless I'm specifically trying to farm 1 specific type of item. Like weed clumps or something. I don't think I'll need to go to another Nook Miles tour. I'm content with my villagers. I would love to see Tarantula Island, but given the time of day that I'm recording this, I'm probably not going to be able to see it right now. Let's use that Nook Miles ticket, my good man. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'm ready for takeoff, sir. Let's do it. Hoppa. Herber. Okay, great. Here we go! Alright, what would dodos do? I don't know. You've asked me that since the beginning of the series, and I never quite know, but you guys seem like optimistic fellows that are willing to jump right into anything, and I suppose that that's what you're telling me to do? What would dodos do? That's what you would do. I would wait things out and hope for the best. Alright, yeah, you know, under normal circumstances, this would be a terrible island for me because I traditionally like being able to fish on flatter islands, but since the goal of today is deep sea diving, it doesn't matter what level of elevation this island has. As long as it's surrounded by water, which would be the definition of an island, then I am good to go. I don't yet know if this will make deep sea diving easier, but this is how we're doing things, and I already see the next set of bubbles straight ahead of me. So folks, you know what I want to talk about today? I want to talk about water levels in video games, and I am not kidding. I want to talk about water levels. I might have actually done this in my Animal Crossing series before, but in case I have, I'm doing it again. And let me tell you something. Most people don't like water levels in games. It's such a weird thing to think about, because when it comes to a 3D game, you ever just think about how you're playing the illusion of swimming in water. All that really changes is that your character has different animations and you're surrounded by the color blue, more often than not. Really, when it comes to game development, that's all it is. There's no real water there. You're just creating the illusion of water. Maybe there's bubbles. You know, maybe your character has different physics. But really, it's just a change of animation and some color changes. But with that said, water levels traditionally provide a different change of pace for video games. They've been around in gaming for as long as gaming's been a thing. I know that Super Mario Bros. Famously has 2 water levels, and there's a water segment on the last Bowser level of the game. Sonic the Hedgehog has water levels. Donkey Kong has water levels. Yoshi's Island has water levels, although you turn into a submarine for those, so they're a bit more fun. Kirby has water levels. Legend of Zelda has water puzzles. Although Breath of the Wild didn't. Maybe Breath of the Wild sequel will, I don't know. But water levels in games, typically not too well received. Now, there are some games where they are well received, and I will be providing those examples right now. Super Mario 64 famously has 2 levels that would be considered as water levels, and those would be Jolly Roger Bay and Dire Dire Docks. The song of those levels is named after Dire Dire Docks, and all things considered, they are not my favorite levels in the game. They are a bit slower, and even in a speedrun, they're not too fun, unless, if you're interested in Mario 64 speedruns, actually one of the most fascinating stars to watch is the 100 coin star plus red coins on Dire Dire Docks. That record is awesome. But aside from that, they are slower levels, and compared to the creativity that that game provides, I don't think they're the most creative levels either. But if you're telling me, like, you're working on a 3D Mario game, you gotta make a water level, they're fine. You know, the first water level is a bit bleak. It's supposed to... it's got some good theming, I guess. There's an eel, there's a pirate ship, and the second water level is like a construction site, kinda. You know, there's a submarine, and there's a whirlpool. I mean, a whirlpool doesn't have to do with the construction site, but the back half of the level is a water level. Like, that's neat. Technically, I guess you could say there's a third water level in the form of Wet Dry World, and that's actually a pretty cool concept for a level, where you raise and lower water levels. Probably inspired them for future Zelda puzzles. I like that level. I guess of the 3, then, Wet Dry World is my favorite water level, but I like the music of Dire Dire Docks more. Dire Dire Docks is like the fan favorite song of Mario 64, so there's that. In terms of other games that have good water levels, I mean, Kirby's usually okay. Water gameplay usually slows stuff down in Kirby. It slows stuff down in games in general, and in Kirby, it's even more unfortunate, because the fun of a Kirby game is to get a fun power-up and then blow through the level with it, but a lot of power-ups don't work underwater. But with that said, the way Kirby games do handle water levels is kind of fun, because they can appear in the middle of another level. I do hate the underwater level in Kirby 64. That's my least favorite level of the game. But when it comes to games such as Kirby Triple Deluxe, Kirby Planet Robobot, and Kirby's Return to Dreamland, you know, those games that are awesome and some of the greatest Kirby games to ever exist, I am okay with the water levels there. And Yoshi's Island, I remember, or rather, I actually don't really remember the water levels that well, but I remember you can turn into a submarine. And that's fun. Otherwise, Yoshi floats above the water. And in 2D Mario games, there usually is a water world, or a beach world that has water levels. I don't care much for the water levels in those games, but I will say the nicest looking ones are in New Super Mario Bros. U, just because of the very cool, colorful seafloor background. Even in Pokemon, I know people love to joke about the 7 point out of 10 too much water meme from IGN when they're talking about the Gen 3 remakes for, or the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire has a lot of surfing in it. Now, fortunately, the surfing speed in the game is fast enough, and while you do have to travel over the water a lot, it generally didn't bother me. But it is a valid complaint, right? There is a lot of water in that game, and a lot of the stuff does look the same. And diving in that game is not that fun to me. I know there is a layer of discovery, and there's like a slight puzzle element to it later on, but it's boring to me. I don't care for it. It's I guess in a world that's gonna be mostly covered by water, being able to go under the water is a cool gameplay concept. But in hindsight, I'm glad that diving is not really a main focus in the modern Pokemon games. But surfing in general is it's kind of an inconvenience. I remember in Diamond and Pearl, surfing was very slow, and they sped it up in Pokemon Platinum and Heart Gold Soul Silver. Thank goodness. And I think the Pokemon games where I like surfing the most are the ones where you can actually see the overworld encounters. So because of that, Pokemon Let's Go and then Pokemon Sword and Shield have been the most enjoyable surfing has been to me. Although you don't technically surf in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you ride your bike on the water. But still, I prefer it that way. But traversing over water is always just like an obstacle that exists in certain games, especially RPGs. There comes a point where you gotta go across the water, whether you gotta learn an ability that lets you go on the water, or you gotta get a machine, or you gotta go on a boat. You know, you gotta go on the water at some point. I understand. So, beyond all of that, what are some other water levels that I do enjoy and those that I don't enjoy? Well, I do not enjoy water levels in Sonic games for the most part. And to be fair, there's only a couple of levels in Sonic games that incorporate water. And in the 3D Sonic games, the only two levels that I recall incorporating water in a Sonic level are both from Sonic Colors. And it's Planet Wisp and Aquarium Park. Now, Aquarium Park is actually a cool idea for a Sonic level because it's an aquarium. It's in a game where everything's themed after a theme park attraction, and so when you're going to have the water exhibit, it probably seems natural that you do something like a log ride or something like that. You know, a fair share of theme parks have some sort of water ride. But I commend that game for doing an aquarium, and it's just it's a nice change of pace. It adds to a nice gameplay element that allows for the game to blend a bit more. Oh, you know what? There are other 3D Sonic games that have water levels, but I know Sonic Adventure 2 obviously has aquarium. What is it called? What is Knuckles' level called? Oh, I can't remember. This is so embarrassing. I can remember all of his other levels. It's right after you do Pumpkin Hill, aquarium, whatever, aqua something. Anyway, I don't like that level either. But Sonic does not go in the water. He does not have water in that game. But then Sonic Generations, you go in the water as classic Sonic, but you don't go in the water as modern Sonic. Okay, well, anyway, beyond all of that, there are other modern Sonic games that have water levels. There's Sonic Lost World, which has a water world. Yeah, I hate that one too. I do not care for that one. The 2D Sonic games are no stranger to Sonic levels, though. There definitely was... Oh, I'm still forgetting, like, there's also Chemical Plant in Sonic Generations. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Maybe Planet Wisp doesn't have water. Maybe it is Chemical Plant that I'm thinking of. So never mind. But still. Alright, so there are more modern Sonic games that have water levels than I thought. That's my bad. I totally acknowledge that. But I generally don't like water levels in Sonic games. Sonic Rush has a water palace. I think that's a cool take on it. It's kind of like an Atlantis-looking place. Kind of looks cool. Although it's not entirely underwater. It's mostly above water. It's just a cool... It's like going through a giant fountain. It's pretty neat. So I'm okay with that. In games like Mario Kart, I suppose water is an interesting mechanic. I mean, there is a level just called Water Park, and it is one of the more boring levels to me. But there are other levels that have underwater aspects, such as Sherbet Land. I remember in Mario Kart 7, you could go underwater on Daisy Cruiser. I remember there's beaches, there's the Cheep Cheep Beach, and then Mario Kart 7 has Koopa Troopa Beach. Yeah, you know, going underwater, it can look pretty, because the colors are a lot more saturated and whatnot. But water levels never really did it for me in video games, I'm afraid. Not to mention, most water levels try to capture this certain atmosphere. And a lot of them will succeed in doing that. But it's an atmosphere that I sadly just don't really care for. It's a slower paced atmosphere because most things are slower in water. And therefore they always have slower music to accompany it. And everything's so slow. Is everything thematically correct? Yes. But I don't like being so slow in my games. I don't even like being that slow in this game. I agree that the swimming speed is accurate, but I like some speed to my games. And maybe that's why there are a couple of Sonic levels that I enjoy. But otherwise, I don't care for water levels. But I guess on that note, if I may go on a tangent for quite a bit, there are other types of worlds that commonly appear throughout different video games that I tend to enjoy. I mean, most video games tend to have a forest world, a snow world, a desert world, and if you're lucky, a city world. And I say if you're lucky because I tend to like city worlds, but those only work in games with a modern aesthetic, and sometimes it depends on where the city is based on. So Sonic games have generally had their cities based on San Francisco, and that was always cool to me because I used to go to San Francisco all the time, and I still want to go back to San Francisco. But, you know, other common cities include New York, Seattle, Los Angeles. Sometimes you'll get something more in vein of, like, general Florida, general Texas, general Midwest. But I like big cities, all right? I like skyscrapers and sky bridges and just, I don't like traffic in real life, but in video games I love it. You know, I just, the modern aesthetic of a city, I like it. And I think some games can portray those locations very, very well. And I just love going through them in different video games. The city world, awesome. I even love, you know, New Donk City and Super Mario Odyssey. I love City Escape and Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Generations. It's actually really cool to see in Sonic Generations because, you know, they had to rebuild the whole level from scratch. So it is cool to actually see the modern technology used to try and create the modern technology of modern architecture of San Francisco. And I don't know, there's just certain shots on the level that I love, like when the truck is chasing Sonic, and it just looks cool. San Francisco's a cool city. Anyway, other worlds that I like, yeah, snow worlds are usually okay. I don't always like slippy, slidey platforming, but the main thing I don't usually like about snow worlds is usually the music being slowed down. I like fast, jolly music in my snow worlds. Mario games are pretty good at that. And Kirby games go back and forth on whether they want to have happy, jolly snow music or dark, atmospheric snow music. It goes back and forth, but generally I like a good snow world. A forest world, it gives a lot of creativity. You know, some levels will be like, oh, you swing on the vines, or you climb the tree branches, or that's all cool. But I've seen a fair share of boring forest levels too, and I'm trying to think of some examples. I mean, the forest idea is like the default level template for a Donkey Kong game, and that's probably why, although they're the first set of levels in the game, they don't really do much for me. And I suppose that when it comes to Kirby games, I don't really care much for the forest levels either. I mean, we all know Wispy Wood's the boss, and it's fine, but Kirby games are so much more creative beyond that it doesn't really matter what a forest world entails. I will also point out that a forest world generally is just a safe concept because it's just nature. And it's almost like a template for a lot of games. I said it's a template for Donkey Kong games, but really, it can be a template for a lot of things. You know, a lot of Pokemon games have forests, and I tend to find them to be pretty boring. A lot of, I guess RPGs in general might have some sort of forest area, and it's fine. You know, forests exist. Places with a lot of trees exist. I just don't care for a lot of them. Okay, you know, I'm going to get this deep sea creature first, and then I'll go for that one on the left. Alright, eventually that one on the left it's just got to calm down. Alright, we're going to let this go. Alright, is this deep sea creature all relaxed now? Can I go very slowly up to it and then finally obtain it? Here we go. Let's get it. Come here. There we go. Thank you. Another umbrella octopus. Not as if I need another one of these, but whatever. But yeah, if you want to ask me what my favorite world themes are, it's probably city and snow. But if you want to talk about level mechanics that I love a lot, well, then I'll tell you. I love gravity flipping mechanics. I love levels where you push a button or you hit a switch or something, and then you're running on the ceiling or you're running on the wall, and like that's where your gravity is. And your gravity just stays there even if you stop moving. And a classic example of that is the level Crazy Gadget from Sonic Adventure 2. I know a lot of people do not like that level, and I do admit of Sonic's levels, Sonic does have a good set of levels, and that one doesn't really capture his playstyle all that well. It's a bit slower. It does stand out because it has a gimmick, but I like it. I love levels like that, and I remember some of the Bowser levels in Super Mario Galaxy had something similar, where there's different arrows that point in these different directions, and wherever the arrow is pointing, that's where the gravity is. So I liked those. I don't really know too many other games that take advantage of that. I really only know the Mario Galaxy games and the Sonic games. I'm sure there are more, and I think there are even some indie games out there where every time you jump, you change gravity. Like, I know VVV, that's the whole point of the game. And I do love that game. But I'm talking about just full-on, also being able to stick to the wall, also being able to stick to the ceiling. Like, I like all that stuff. Crazy Gadget, I think, is an underrated level from Sonic Adventure 2. And while it's not the level I'd love to see as representation in a future Sonic Generations title, I think it's still a very cool concept. Alright, with that said, that's a cool mechanic for a level. I'm also a fan of levels where you're overpowered and your goal is just to destroy everything. Generally, the ends of recent Kirby games do this. Kirby Planet Robobot, for example, is a game where a major mechanic of the game is that you go inside of mech robots. But then at the end of the game, you go inside of like a super mech robot and you just go through and you destroy the level. That to me is fun. I love that. Like, at the very end of the game, it's just like, alright, destroy everything, go! And then the music's blasting and there's like maybe even a special remix for the level that you're playing at the time. That's cool. I'm trying to think what else, though. Because, you know, Desert World, yeah, that's fine. Grassland World, yeah, that's fine. Space levels, they can be okay. Goes back and forth. Usually, I feel like not enough games are creative enough with the space concept. I think a lot of them just do, like, you know, light gravity, and then that's the end of it. Hey, I actually got this. Cool. I will take it. It's another Umbrella Octopus. Well, I got you. Alright. You know, I will swap it. I'll hang on to another one. Here you go. Put that sea cucumber back in the water. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Alright, how are we doing? How are we doing? See? I've almost got 50 deep sea creatures already, and I'm only at the 40-minute mark. I'm kicking butt. Alright, I just gotta get to 2250 today, if not more, and then my obligations as a deep sea diver today will have been fulfilled. Here's hoping I can do that in the next 19 minutes. I guess my average has been pretty good. I've been doing better than 2 per minute, although now that I've said that, I'm not finding any more deep sea creatures, and now my overall average of deep sea creatures found per minute is falling apart. I really just have to pursue any and all bubbles that I locate. So here we go. Here's this one. This should be a pretty easy to obtain deep sea creature, and then there will be another one just north of here. Easy peasy. Alright, well, I guess if we're gonna talk about tropes in games that I like, I may as well also talk about tropes in storytelling that I like as well. Because I can talk about level types that I like, but I'll tell you what else I enjoy. Because I started talking about how I love when games just make you overpowered at the very end and just give you this final thrill push. Well, if we're gonna talk about tropes, there are 2 tropes that I thoroughly enjoy. Trope number 1 is when a show has a good guy and a bad guy, and the good guy and the bad guy must team up together to take on a bigger threat. I live for that stuff. The idea of Mario and Bowser working together, Sonic and Dr. Eggman having to work together. What are some other common examples? I guess, like, if you want to go into superhero stuff, there might be 1 or 2 instances where maybe even Batman and Joker had to work together. Stuff like that. Maybe that's never happened. I don't know. But that's the type of stuff I love. I think it makes for a fun dynamic. You get to see a side of these characters that you don't normally get to see. And it's cool to see something that makes even the villain scared. Something that makes the villain have to work with the hero, or something that makes the hero have to work with the villain. That's just cool to me. I love that trope. It does get used a lot. And oftentimes it's used as a scapegoat plot. Because, oh, you don't want to have the villain die, but if the villain has to help the hero for this thing, then that gives them a bit of a redeeming factor. You know, I live for it. I love it. It's a good trope. It's a good trope. And then the other thing, the other trope that I actually really like, what was I going to say? I don't remember. It'll come back to me. I love a few different things in storytelling. Well, okay. Here's a trope I'm a sucker for. All right? And to me, this is just called good storytelling. A good story is when a character's actions, his or her own actions, are the reason that that character falls into a situation. But then, it's those characters' own actions that get him or her out of that situation. And so, a trope that I actually enjoy, and it's going to sound stupid and dumb, and a lot of movies I feel do it wrong, I actually do enjoy a good argument scene in a movie or a show. Let me be clear with what I mean by that. Alright? I don't like just characters shouting at each other. I like it when a character says something to another character and they realize, that they're wrong. I'll give you an example. I'll tell you a time that I liked it, okay? The Pokemon X and Y anime is a very fascinating take on the Pokemon series as a whole. And there is a part in the series where the main character Ash has just lost his second battle in a row. It's like after he's trying to compete for his 8th gym badge, alright? He lost twice in a row, and he walks off into the snowy forest to try and think to himself. And, one of the other characters, Serena, goes up to him and says, you don't need to be sad. You're not normally like this. And then, Ash says, why don't you just buzz off? You have no idea how I feel. And Serena gets mad and throws a snowball at him. And I like that. Now, what I don't like is how quickly afterward he's just like, you know what? I do need to lighten up. I get it. You need to have the resolution by the end of the episode, whatever. But I appreciate when a character, and it sounds so mean to me to say, I appreciate when a character falls apart and just, kind of takes it out on others. And then the other characters are like, alright, you know what? Yeah. A lot of movies and shows don't do this correctly because a lot of characters just shout, and then at the end of it all, they're like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean what I said. No, this is a good opportunity to showcase a character's true ideals and beliefs, and show them reflect upon themselves. Even comedic argument scenes I like in shows such as Rick and Morty or The Simpsons. I think they're great. There's a great argument scene in an episode of Rick and Morty where it's called the Vat of Acid episode, and basically the argument is whether or not one of Rick's plans of jumping into a vat of acid was a good idea, and Morty doesn't think it is, and they basically start cursing each other out, and the conversation spirals into Rick saying something along the lines of, there are no such things as bad ideas, and Morty's like, well, you think all my ideas are bad. And then they just argue with each other, and it's a very comedic scene, and it is just a lot of angry yelling. But I like it because it's a nice side to these characters that, even though there are other episodes where these characters clearly yell at each other, it's interesting to actually see them have this argument. Now, I don't like getting into arguments with my friends. I don't like having my friends argue with each other. I don't like it in real life, and maybe that's why I appreciate it in a show, because I know in a show it has to end. But I'm not sure. Additionally, when it comes to a show or a movie or a game where you're trying to develop your character, one of my favorite emotions of the character is actually fear. And I know that sounds messed up, and I'm probably going to sound like some sort of, psychological killer, but the reason I like fear is because that's the emotion that truly shows what a character is. A cocky character is one thing that can be fun. But when the character has a known weakness, I think that makes the character much more relatable and much more interesting to watch. And, the character has to have a fear. It doesn't have to be a weakness, but a fear usually leads to a weakness. The character not wanting something specific to happen. Fear is interesting. I appreciate moments when the normally cocky or arrogant character has that expression where he goes wide-eyed and he goes, oh shoot. There we go! That's the trope I like. Alright? But remember earlier when I was trying to say, there's a second trope, I don't remember what it was? Alright, I call it the oh shoot moment. Alright, I like it when a character reveals that they have something to lose, and I like it when main characters do lose. Okay, I like that. I know that there are a lot of shows where the main character has to win at the end, and at the end of the day, a good story usually has some sort of character achieve something positive at the end. Alright, I get that. I enjoy a good oh shoot moment from a main character, though. Good example? I'm going to use Sonic the Hedgehog twice here. Sonic Unleashed at the very beginning, when Dr. Eggman, turns him into a werewolf. It's a good oh shoot moment. And then there's the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, where Sonic gets all arrogant and he's like, his friends are falling off the side of the Transamerica building, and he has that ability where he sees everything in super slow-mo, but then Dr. Eggman gets the same ability, and he starts chasing Sonic, and he shoots Sonic, and Sonic falls to the ground and gets hurt. So, those are good oh shoot moments. I like it when the main character realizes they're not invincible, there's something to be lost, and they actually have to think outside the box. I like that. And maybe that's why I like certain battles and certain parts of movies that other people don't like. I know commonly when it comes to the Pokemon anime, people hate a battle that the main character had against a character named Tobias. There was a character in the show named Tobias who was basically, he basically existed to be a plot point. For those that don't watch Pokemon, I'm going to explain this as quickly and simplistically as I can. So, at the end of every Pokemon series, like every 4 years or so, there is something called the Pokemon League. It's basically what the entire show builds up to. The main character trains for a tournament and then competes against the other best Pokemon trainers in the world, and they participate in Pokemon battles. Alright? That's the big moment of the show, and it's kind of fun because you get to see everything that the show has been building up to, and in some cases you get to see just like the best of these characters. Like, who's gonna win this fight? Alright? This is Pokemon League. Main character competes in the Pokemon League. But for the longest time, the main character actually never won the Pokemon League. You might figure, oh, it's a show about this character, so that by the end of the show, the character's going to win the tournament and end happily ever after. No, that's actually not what happened. When Pokemon was first airing, it was all about the main character training for the Pokemon League, and then he got to the league and he lost. And it was actually kind of an interesting twist. It was like, oh, the main character lost the league, what happens? Well, life goes on. And then he trained for a different league. And that's basically what the show became. He kept competing in these different Pokemon leagues, okay? But then you figure that kind of gets boring after a while. That, he's just going to lose the league again. And so this character named Tobias was created as an excuse to make Ash lose another Pokemon league, so that the show could keep going. Because they feared that if the show had Ash win a Pokemon league, then the show would need to end. That was the fear. Because, what do you do after the character reaches his goal? Show's over. So, Ash battled against this guy named Tobias, and Tobias basically made a fool of Ash. He beat Ash super quickly. I love the battle, because it's a great oh shoot moment, because we've never really... Ash is doing his best. He's at his best he's ever been. You just spent 4 years watching this show, watching the character train for this moment, and he just gets destroyed. Alright? I obviously understand why people are upset with that, because they feel like it's 4 years of wasted time. I spent all this time rooting for this character, hoping he'd finally win this Pokemon League, and then he finally lost because this character named Tobias comes out of nowhere and beats him in, like in 20 minutes. Alright, I get the frustration. But prior to that, there was never quite a character like Tobias in the show. A character that bodied Ash as quickly as he did. And yet, even though he beat Ash, Ash was still able to prove how strong he was, because he was the only person who even basically dealt any damage to Tobias. It's like, if I may compare this to a real world example, there are some athletes out there that are just too good. The example I'll use, I know that there's a lot of different athletes that have a lot of different controversy, but the athlete I'll use is Mike Tyson. Alright? Mike Tyson's a famous boxer. He had a successful licensed video game called Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. He was a very tough guy. He famously would beat people mere seconds into a boxing match. Now, I don't watch boxing, but even I know that. There's famous clips of him where he just goes in, he dodges one punch, he 1-2 punches his opponent, and he wins. Alright, he's too good. Now, did Mike Tyson ever lose? He probably did. He probably did. But that's just it, right? Mike Tyson was this champion boxer who destroyed so many people. And let's say you're watching a story about this underdog, and this underdog climbs his way through, and he's winning people, and he's boxing well, and he let's say his record is like 12-0, right? He's kicking, or he's not kicking, he's boxing, so he's punching butt, right? He's beating people. And then he goes up against Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson, this guy who can beat people in mere seconds, does not beat this underdog in mere seconds. It takes him 2 rounds to beat him. Alright? Now, that's better than a lot of other people, but the underdog didn't beat Mike Tyson. Now, is that a bad story? I don't know. In this Pokemon example, I liked the battle that Ash had against Tobias. I liked seeing Ash get bodied. I thought it made for a nice change of pace. I thought it made for a nice oh shoot moment. And I thought that it made for a moment that fans would remember for years to come because people are still talking about this battle. Now, some people will argue, well, just because people are talking about it doesn't mean it's a good thing. I suppose that's true. But it really does mean that there's no other battle like it. And we probably will never get another battle like it because it received so much backlash. But I love going back to watch it because it's just so cool to me. Like, the animation's good on it. The battle moves. Ash versus Tobias. I remember when that battle first happened, people were like, Ash fought this guy who used all these overpowered legendary Pokemon. And people were trying to upload clips to YouTube, and they all got millions of views immediately, and then they all got copyright struck immediately. But people just really wanted to watch this battle because they couldn't believe that this is a thing that happened in the show. And I know I've talked about this on this show before. I talked about this when I did an episode with my good friend Cody. We talked about this exact thing. People wanted to watch this battle. I wanted to watch this battle. I had to watch uploads of it on YouTube because I didn't have another way to access it at the time. I couldn't believe this was happening either. I was like, no way, this is what's happening in the show right now. This guy is using legendary Pokemon and is kicking butt and is beating Ash in a matter of minutes. It still looks cool, though. There's still this elements of suspense to it. And the more I watch this battle in other languages and read the trivia on it, the more I appreciate it. Because I learned that in the Japanese version of the show, for those that have never watched Pokemon, or maybe you do watch Pokemon, but for those that don't know, every episode of Pokemon, they do the theme song, and then there's a moment where the main character says the name of the episode, and there's usually like a jingle that goes with it. So it'll go like doo 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 doo, Ash versus Brock, and then the episode starts. But when they did this episode, the jingle wasn't there. Instead, it was like this dark, ominous song. And I'm like, that's so cool. And then it just like fades into the episode. Now, the English version, it still has the jingle, but the rest of the music is left untouched. Like, they knew this was a serious moment with a pretty serious, worrying tone. And for that reason, they left all the music in because I guess they felt it was appropriate. These days, the American localized version of the show changes the music around a lot, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've heard arguments that they don't own the songs, but then it begs the question, like, but they use some of these songs in other episodes. I don't know. A lot of questionable decisions, but that's not what I'm here to say. What I'm here to say, though, is, like, it was a clear decision to make this battle different. It was a nice oh shoot moment, and I liked it. It's a trope I enjoy. And I liked the oh shoot moments in the Sonic the Hedgehog media, and I like it in Mario games when Mario's like, oh shoot, I can't beat Bowser right now. I love it. I live for it. And there's even an oh shoot moment in some Kirby games. That's usually how the games start off. Like, the planet gets attacked and the heroes can't win at first. It's usually a way plots get started. Big bad comes along, main protagonist can't beat the big bad, main protagonist spends the game trying to get strong enough to beat the big bad. Right? Like, that's a general plot for most video games with the story. It's not a bad setup. It's called the hero's journey some of the time if there's a journey involved. Alright, how am I doing on the deep sea diving? Alright! If I just get 26 more deep sea creatures, I am done for the day. Whew! Alright. Well, in any case, I do enjoy a good oh shoot moment. I do enjoy a good trope when the heroes have to work with the villains. And I do enjoy just stories where things are not cliche and repetitive and boring. Ugh, I hate it when movies try to force an emotional scene. Alright, I hate it. So it does not feel earned most of the time. And when it does feel earned, sometimes it can catch me by surprise. You know what show caught me by surprise with an emotional scene, or a scene that tried to be at least like slightly emotional? Was freaking Invader Zim, of all things. Alright, I don't know how many people watch Invader Zim. I don't know how many people saw the Enter the Florpus movie. But there's a surprisingly effective, slower moment. Where, the one of the main characters is named Dib. And the whole point of the show is that Zim is an alien, but nobody knows he's an alien except for Dib. And Dib kind of complains about that to his father. And his father still doesn't really believe him. And Dib says something to the effect of, you know, just once, I wish you'd have my back. And it, you know, it gets brought up later in the movie. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But it works well when it gets brought up later in the movie. Like, it feels earned because they set it up earlier in the movie. You want to know an example of a movie I don't think did an emotional scene well, where it doesn't feel earned? I'll give you an example, alright? I am a SpongeBob fan. I love the original seasons of SpongeBob. I don't care much for the newer seasons. I hear a couple of the modern episodes are okay. I've seen a couple. I've seen like 5 or 6 modern episodes, and it was about 50-50. Like, 3 of them I was like, oh, hey, that wasn't bad. And the other 3 I was like, that was a waste of my time. So, it goes back and forth. But I love older SpongeBob. Alright, there's a new SpongeBob movie. I was bored. I decided to watch it and give it a chance. Alright, I did not like it. I liked the animation. You know, the voice actors are still good at voicing their roles. I did not think the jokes landed, and I think the story beats were confusing. And there's a part in the movie where there's very clearly supposed to be this emotional moment where all the characters are talking about how important SpongeBob is, okay? Conceptually, not a bad idea. But the point in which that comes up in the movie does not feel earned. It's like SpongeBob is trying to save his pet snail, Gary. Okay, that's the plot of the movie. His pet snail is taken by Poseidon, and Poseidon takes him to Atlantis City. Okay, so SpongeBob goes to Atlantis City, and then gets arrested for trying to save his snail, and then he gets put on trial. The other characters show up, and then they explain how important SpongeBob is. It doesn't make sense to me. One, alright, you should be talking about how important Gary is. Something like that. Two, the other characters kind of show up out of nowhere. And three, the movie kind of just gets emotional out of nowhere. Alright? All the characters are suddenly sad that SpongeBob is gone for a day. They act as if him being gone is the end of the world, that none of them can function without him. And it's out of nowhere. Alright? Because in the movie, I'm trying to explain all of this without spoiling anything. In the movie, SpongeBob leaves to go get his pet snail. I guess he doesn't tell anybody. So some of the other characters are like, where's SpongeBob? And they start freaking out. And then they all just get sad. And it's like, what? What? I don't understand. I don't understand. They're trying to show the importance of SpongeBob, and it just doesn't feel earned. It feels so forced because they feel, oh, this is the part of the movie where there needs to be an emotional moment. And it's like, no, you don't. Guys, you don't have to have an emotional moment in a movie. I get that a lot of good movies have emotional moments, but there's a way to do them, and there's a way not to do them. And if you don't need them, then don't do them. All right? There are plenty of great comedic movies that don't need an emotional moment. And while some may argue, well, any good story has a point where characters argue and the climax is resolved by the characters getting back together. I don't know. I don't think it needs to be that way. All right? I don't think you need to have a big emotional ending to make a good movie. I really don't think you need to. I think you can just keep with the comedic beats. Yes, I think every movie needs like a rising point and a falling point if you're going to follow that logic of writing a good story. Yes, you need to have a climax and a resolution. I agree with that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is your climax and your resolution does not have to be characters having a heartwarming, heartfelt message. All right? It's trying to score extra points and say like, look, we're a good movie because we have this heartfelt message. And it's like, no, you're beating a message into the ground, and it doesn't make you any better just for saying it over and over. A good movie is more subliminal with it, and a good movie doesn't even need to have a message. It just needs to tell a coherent story with a good beginning, middle, and end. I say this like I'm some sort of screenwriter or some sort of movie director. Alright, I'm not. It does peeve me when people say, oh, well, if you could make a better movie, why don't you? Well, you know what? If I had the budget, maybe I would just go do that. If I had the permission to make a SpongeBob movie and people were actually, you know, saying I could be in charge, maybe I'd go do it. But for now, as a mere person who has seen the movie, that is my critique. Alright? And then there are individual episodes of shows where I have my gripes. I don't think certain things are earned. You know, I have complaints about certain episodes of Pokemon where I think the resolution doesn't feel earned. I have certain critiques with certain episodes of, like, Avatar: The Last Airbender or other story-driven shows where I feel as though certain story elements don't feel earned. But I am very fortunate that I have seen more good movies, or more movies that I have agreed with, than those that I have not agreed with. Anyway, that's me talking about tropes that I like in games and movies, and things that I don't like in games and movies, and it all started with me talking about water levels. Alright, I need 12 more deep sea creatures. Here's what I'm going to do. Alright. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get this deep sea creature, and then I'm going to make my way back to the shore. Alright. There we go. Thank you very much. Alright, yeah, I can't hear anything else. Alright, I'm going to make my way back over to the shore. If I see any bubbles along the way, then naturally I will collect those deep sea creatures along the way. Otherwise, I want to go back to my island, empty my pockets of these deep sea creatures, and then I'll catch the final 10 or 11 or so deep sea creatures back on my island. And because my pockets will be empty, it should hopefully be at least a slightly quicker process. That way I don't have to keep going through the menu box and saying, no, I don't want to swap items. Alright, there we go. Goodbye. Alright, here I go. I'm going back over here now. Alright, I'm getting this deep sea creature real quickly, and then I'm swimming back to the shore again. Alright, here we go. And then I'm getting this. Thank you. Getting it. Getting it done. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Back to the shore. If any other deep sea creatures want to make themselves known right now, it'd be handy, but otherwise, I get the feeling I'm just going to go straight onto the shore, and that will be the end of it. Alright, and we are good. Okay. All set. So. Oh. I gotta pole vault my way across. Alright, hang on. We're getting it. You know, I'm taking this tree branch for good luck. Oh, hey. Okay. Now I'm gonna do this. Okay, good. Good. What am I doing? I don't need to craft anything. What the heck? That's not what I wanted to do at all. Here. Let me look at this again. Yeah, I need to go back to, like, here. And then I need to go back to, like, there. Something. I don't know. Just go somewhere where none of this matters. Alright, good. Let's get out of here. The sun's going down. Alright, I'm ready to go home. I am ready, sir. Alright, let's go. Let's go. I will catch 100 deep sea creatures today, and all will be right with the world. Okay? At least I got a couple of star fragments and was able to craft an Ares chair or something as well, so it's all coming together. Okay, I'm going, and then I'm going over here. Excuse me. Oh, another cherry blossom. All right, hang on. So what if I do this? So what if I just completely miss it? Oh, what about that? All right, let's sell, and then all you guys gotta go. Alright, you all gotta go. It was fun, but now I gotta get 28,000 bells from the drop-off box. Alright, very good. Very good. Alright, so I'm sorry. How many more deep-sea creatures do I need, and how quickly can I get them? Deep dive. 9 more! I can get 9 more. I used to get 20 a day. I can get 9 more in a matter of a couple minutes. With any luck, I can get at least 1 a minute, if not sooner. Maybe I can get like 2 or 3 a minute. Let's go get him. Alright. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to do it. Here we go. And here's deep sea creature number 1. Hopefully this is one that's relatively easy to obtain, but based on the bubble pattern, I fear that this thing might start getting away from me. I got it. Alright. Hey, that's a scallop, which means our good friend Pascal is going to show up. Good timing, too. I just cleared my inventory. If I got that scallop and my inventory was full, I wouldn't be able to get an item for you. So yes, sir, we can trade. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, what you got for me? Alright. Gold is just rocks with good makeup. Don't think I agree. Gold is a natural element that is on the periodic table that is thick and dense and was used to help us discover atoms? I don't think it's just a rock, sir. Rocks are made up of all sorts of different things. But alright, you're trying to give me advice. I'm trying to apply science to it. I apologize. I'm also speaking on a topic I don't thoroughly understand. Chemistry was not my forte. It was a subject I appreciate to this day, but I don't know too much about it. Barely even remember the periodic table. I remember hydrogen's all the way to the left, the top left. Helium's all the way in the top right. Then underneath hydrogen, it's lithium. Then beryllium, and then after that, I forget. And then on the right side of the periodic table is the noble gases, which is helium, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, I'm not even going to know the rest of these. Alright. And I can name a couple of other elements, such as iron, and sodium, and chlorine, and seaborgium, and tungsten. Yeah, how about that? There you go. Tungsten, the element whose symbol is a W. How do you like that? And sodium, whose symbol is Na. Yeah. And then there's tin. There's also tin. I don't know. Okay, well, anyway. Elements. Yeah, not my best memorization of a subject, but, you know, it's kind of cool. Each element has a use. Some are obviously much more common than others. There we go. I will take this. Another scallop. Well, since I already saw Pascal, I can't see him again. But how many more deep sea creatures do I need? 4 more? Well, don't mind if I do. You know, it's crazy. I took deep sea diving off the schedule because I didn't want to have to keep going overtime in my videos. I figured I'll just double up and knock out the deep sea diving on future days. And now here I am doubling up. I've done nothing but deep sea diving, and I'm still overtime. Darn it. It's gonna take some time. But this will all be done in a couple of days, and it will all be so great. There we go, another scallop, but I already see more bubbles over to the left. Great. Let's get it! And then I already lost track. Do I gotta get 2 more after this, or 1 more after this? Let me see. And then it's... Hey! Come here, thank you. Alrighty, that's another scallop. Good. Alright, how we doing? How we doing? I gotta get 2 more. 2 more, okay. I can get those and I can end today's video. And I will only be 250 away from finally being done with this deep sea diving Nook Miles achievement. Oh man. Alright. Well, let's get it. Let's do it. Alright, there. See, that's 1. Alright, very, very good. Hopefully this process will be faster tomorrow. I still don't really know if going to a Nook Miles Island sped up this process or not. I don't really think it did, but hey, at least I used up the Nook Miles ticket, so there's that. Okay, you know what? I'll get 2 different deep sea creatures. I'll make a future day slightly easier. I will get this deep sea creature right here. There we go, thank you. And then I will get that deep sea creature in the back. Now, with any luck, I'll still get 100 deep sea creatures tomorrow and not just 99. But then, you know, one day, I'll only need to get 49 deep sea creatures instead of 50. Or something like that. So I will get this, and then we will be done. Excellent. So, folks, that wraps up this video of Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening to me ramble about tropes I enjoy in games and whatnot. And I will hopefully find something more engaging to talk about next time. But otherwise, we're nearing the end, and I will knock out this deep sea diving stuff. Alright. Bye-bye, humans. Whoosh.